So today we're going to speak about AI tools, and this is something that is pertinent and something that is important for all of us. All of our work over the next 5, 10, 15, and beyond years will be affected by AI. And it's a good thing too. This is the only slides I have in Portuguese, but I wanted to, for all of you visitors and for also those of us who live here in Portugal, to understand better why AI is important and why this sort of change comes at the right time. So the first thing that we can see here, this is the profile of the Portuguese population. So you can see in 1974, it was a nice pyramid. That is to say, the youngest people at the bottom, the oldest people at top. You can see now it looks like an urn, or maybe something that, maybe more romantically we can say it's something that holds olive oil from the Alentejo. This is to say that we have a big bulge in the middle. The average Portuguese public servant is 48 years old, according to the latest statistics. So we understand that both public and private companies will need to adjust to this new reality of demographics. The other thing that I wanted to show you here is how we talk about the primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. So that is to say, let's use some pseudonyms here. Let's talk about agriculture and other types of industries, which used to be 35% of the Portuguese economy. And now translates into, 35 now translates into 3% that are working in this area. If we look at the secondary economy, which is again light industry, transformation, 34% to 25%. And the story obviously is that whereas before it was only 31% in 1974, in 2022, we have 73% of the Portuguese economy looking and working in services. So it is sufficient to say that AI will change our world, especially we are so focused on services where AI can really help us. So that's my welcome to Portugal, so that you understand that this is important in our context here in this country. Throughout Europe, I'm also a visiting professor in Tokyo, in Toyo University in Tokyo this semester. And it's a topic that also I debated and discussed with lots of my Japanese colleagues earlier this year. So let's look at some of the history, right? Because we can gain some insights to the future by looking at the past. So if we look at how revolutions, industrial revolutions, have happened in the world, you can see the first industrial revolution, of course, is machinery, steam power. We get the train. We eventually get the automobile. And then in Industry 2.0, we then are also talking about mass production, an assembly line, talking about electrification, and these brought great changes. Now you can see also the difference here between 120 years between that first industrial revolution and the second. Then we go to 70 when we're starting now to look at Industry 3.0, and that's the emergence of computers, of automation, and this really started to change once we started getting computational power. And then, of course, an industrial revolution which we all have lived through in this room, and that is the internet. That is the smart factories and other ways in which we now access and use information. And you can see also that 30 years from when the computer was established as a main part of the industrial fabric, to 30 years later where you had internet, and now 20 years later, we have AI. So also we see these changes becoming in faster and faster amounts of time. So of course, artificial intelligence